you're in the right place. This is the premiere issue of Gorgon Video Magazine. We're going to be out every 2 months, and you better know I'm Michael Berryman. You know Linnea Quigley, Queen of the Bees. We've got it exclusive. And we got the GWAR Masters, special effects for K&B Effects. Troma takes us through 15 years with the toxic Avenger, Bloodbath, Shock Rock, GWAR, drive-in, cult classic double features from Sinister Cinema. Keep your pants on. First up, Wes Craven on the set of his new film, Shocker. When I worked with Wes Craven on Hills Have Eyes, I had no idea this man wanted to become a minister. Congratulations, Wes Craven, on becoming the High Priest of Horror.
My name is Wes Craven, and I make movies that catch my attention. People always ask me, how does a nice, quiet person like yourself, think up these ideas? And my answer always is, who says I think them up? I mean, look around you, I think that we tend to filter out a great deal of the horror of life, or to sort of trivialize it and make it acceptable. Whereas if you really keep your eyes open, or just listen to the news, or read newspapers, or read history, there's a tremendous amount of real-life horror in this world. And I just seem to be attuned to it. It affects me.
Thanks, Dylan. Thank you. Craig, what are we doing?
Don't chew gum like this at home. This is being done by a professional.
Very quiet, please. A little squeeze of light isn't going to kill me. Okay, I'm ready.
For years, I sort of fought the fact that I was doing a lot of horror. And then about in the last 5 years, I started to realize with Nightmare on Elm Street that so long as I controlled the project and could write about a type of horror that really fascinated me, working within horror gives you tremendous freedom as an artist because it deals with all those other realities. There's not really hard and fast rules about what you can show in a horror film. You can go beyond beyond the rules, beyond the limits, and you can also deal with very strange and bizarre states of reality that most films simply don't go into at all. I was kept in an asylum most of my life. I was criminally insane as a child. I burnt up most of the local puppy farms now. He was a very quiet kid. He was probably well-behaved with a wild imagination. But, working class kid in Cleveland, Ohio, churchgoer, raised, strict religious family, and probably, was caused to have a wild imagination because his life was so, in a sense, restricted and proper. So by the time I went away to college, I, sowed all my wild oats and started looking at all the films of the European surrealists and reading very widely in all the European authors and everything. So, I was fascinated by that sort of sudden expansion of consciousness on my own part. And so when I started making movies, it was a very natural thing to just keep going at that sort of wacky velocity. The first actual feature film that I worked on, I was the writer, director, editor. I mean, it's a very bizarre story, but it was a very small film. Total budget, $90,000. And somebody had just come to us and said, we want a horror film, can you make it for us? And my partner, Sean Cunningham, at that time, we were just new friends, we've known each other about half a year, decided to, make a little horror film. So we went out and got a documentary film cameraman with his own 16mm camera. We had about 2 lights, and I think our whole crew was about 6 people. And we just went out and made a movie in people's backyards. And, borrowed houses, borrowed Sean's mother's house for one set, and, shot in her swimming pool. Just, made it up on the spot. And worked from a very strong script, though. I mean, that is, I think, the secret of making a good film is get the script right before you start. Well, the worst nightmare I ever had was in releasing something that I directed was on a television movie where the 2 nights before it went on the air, it was called Chiller. We had a call from the network saying the championship basketball game was going to run in our time slot, and we were going to be put on at 11:30 at night with no change in the listing in the newspapers. So it was basically, 4 months of work out the window. In a movie release, I think probably On the Hills of Eyes. We opened very strongly in a lot of independent theaters and broke house records in Detroit. And almost immediately, Burt Reynolds opened with Smokey and the Bandit. And it just wiped everybody out. I mean, just all the distributors were forced to take that picture and play it because it was obviously so strong. And even theaters that wanted to keep our picture in were forced to take it out. So we ended up playing drive-in theaters when there was snow on the ground, and in little dinky theaters out on the edge of town. We didn't get a single good play date on that whole movie, and it was a very strong movie. It, as it has proved in its long life, it did very well on cassette and in cable television, but it never got a real good theatrical release.
Come back for you later, girlie.
I've had a continuing battle with the rating system, and even though I'm sympathetic to it in some ways, I mean, I understand that it is, in a sense, the industry's taking responsibility for itself, so it doesn't have an exterior censor, as they did in the Hays Commission. It is still has been sort of the bane of my life. I've had an X on almost all of my films except for Serpent and the Rainbow on the first cut. Nightmare on Elm Street had to be severely recut, and Deadly Friend had 13 separate submissions before it was finally cleared. And in the worst cases, it can force you to do a cut that you would never do as a creative person. It can be much choppier and much more awkward looking than you would ever want it to be. And it can cut out the real key moments of what you're trying to portray, which is a horrific moment. And in that sense, I think it can be really destructive. I've had them continually say to me, I'll say, well, what shot should I cut? And they say, well, we can't tell you a particular shot to cut, but the overall effect is too intense. And that's mind-boggling to me, because I am in the business of intensity. That's what my films are about. The new Wes Craven film is Shocker, No More Mr. Nice Guy. And I wouldn't say it was gory. I would say it's story and character, but it does have a little blood in it, enough to keep it interesting. The problems doing a film with a lot of special effects are that any special effect takes 2 or 3 or 4 times as much time as a normal scene. My Dinner with Andre, 2 people sitting at a table in a restaurant, is the perfect low-budget film because there's no special effects, there's no atmosphere, there's just 2 people. A film like Shocker is full of special effects. Horace Pinker, I would say, for a full 2/3 of the film, is not alive. He's coming back from the other side of the grave, and it needs to be transparent. All of that involves computer-controlled camera work where every pass is triple or quadruple. So you film the actor, and then you film an empty set, and then you film the other actor, et cetera, et cetera. Any which one of those passes, something can go wrong with the computer, so that's very time-consuming. Doing any sort of a horror film that has a great deal of timing and surprise in it, and a lot of cutaways and very specific small special effecty shots gets very time-consuming. It's the first film where I've had complete artistic control. We are not required to show dailies to anyone. We have complete story control, casting control, and it's like a great gift given to me by my partners and by Universal, so that I'm doing it with a tremendous amount of excitement and freedom. So it's like the purest Wes Craven of any of the films that I've done. It goes beyond Nightmare on Elm Street in that way, in that I just am able to do completely what I see rather than having to change it for anybody else's vision. On my tombstone, I would like to have written, "Here lies a filmmaker."
Special effects and makeup can make or break a horror film. The three gore hounds who founded K&B Effects first worked together on Evil Dead 2 and went on to create blood-drenched effects for horror show Intruder, and now Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. Gorgon caught up with them at their studio. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Howard Berger.
Greg Nicotero.
And Robert Kurtzman.
And we are
K&B Effects Group.
Effects Group, which stands for Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger. I got my start professionally about 6 years ago. Started working for a place called Makeup Effects Lab in John Beekler's. And born and raised in California, Valley dude. And got interested in motion pictures. My father's in the industry, owns a sound company. And I was primarily raised on horror films all my life. My big break came when I worked on Day of the Dead with Greg here. And Greg finally moved out here and met Robert. And the three of us got together after many, many years of working together for other people and decided, hey, let's form our own company. And so we did.
I got my start in the film industry about 5 years ago. I grew up in Pennsylvania where they made Night of the Living Dead, George Romero, Tom Savini. So I got hooked up with them growing up being interested in horror films, and that was how I got into the business. I got my first start on a film called Day of the Dead with both of them.
I started in the effects business about 5 years ago. Actually, Howard gave me my first job out here. And basically started out at the bottom, worked your way up. You start out as a lab assistant, working on molds and things, and eventually you end up owning your own company, if you're lucky.
I think the movies all of us went to see were horror films. You know, we grew up on the classic monsters, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, and then ventured into like Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead.
I don't think any of us played sports as kids.
No.
I think we mostly sat home on Saturday afternoon after school and watched
And just watched movies.
horror movies.
Yeah.
I know I was
Or
home every
cut
Saturday.
school.
Kids today go to see films to see the effects in films like this, and they want to see how it's done and how far we can push it.
A lot of reasons why people like horror films is because it's escape for them. It's pure escape. They can see what happens to people when they die. Maybe it's a way for people to accept their own mortality by seeing what it's like and how people react to it.
Talking to a lot of people outside of the business, friends, and just we'll go to theaters and go, oh, did you like that movie? They'll usually say no, there just wasn't enough.
Here we are, K&B Effects Group facility. We're working very hard in this 104-degree temperature. And over here we have one of the autopsy cadavers, which Howard and Bob are sculpting on right now. For this film, we have to do a bunch of background bodies as well as one main body, which goes through 4 stages of dissection. This is actually just a background body, but we want it to look right, so we're taking our time and sculpting each of the bodies in different stages of dissection. This is the last stage of one of the autopsied cadavers where most of the skin has been removed, and she is basically started from scratch and building up. You can see some of the pictures that she's using for reference where we can see the lungs and the heart and the liver and things like that. So Linda is doing the 4th stage, which has all the skin has been removed at this point. We see all the muscles on the legs and the neck and the arms. 2nd stage body, which Brian Wade is working on, which is a stage less than the last one we just saw, where the skin is all still intact. We don't see any of the muscles or anything like that. And Brian is working on this one. Up here we have a lot of the heads, props, arms, and doings of some of the films that we have done in the past. Over here we have this is a little jointed little girl we made for a horror show. At the beginning, Max Jenke's running around, and this girl is his hostage before he lops her head off. This is our oven. We'll get to the molds in a minute, but this is the oven. Bob's dad came from Ohio. He personally built this for us. This is a big oven. We bake all our foam latex in here. What we do is we put the liquidy foam latex part in the molds, stuff the molds in the oven, and you bake them. And this is it. So here, our lab technician, Mark Tavares, is working on a mold for we're doing a makeup for a film where we need to break it down into separate pieces. It's basically done to allow easier application and allow the pieces to be blent off easier. So what he's doing is making an individual piece of the neck and the cheek so that we can float the pieces individually and mold them. And over here on this side of the table we have another of our lab technicians extraordinaire, Mark Maitre, who is sculpting a mutated head for a film which we're not really allowed to say what the name of it is or what's happening here. We just can say that it's a bitchin' sculpture that Mark's working on. What you do is you put a bald cap on the person and you use a material called alginate, which is the same things that dentists use to cast your teeth with. You put the alginate on their faces, leaving the nose clear so they can breathe, because if they didn't breathe, they would die, and that would not be good. Then you back it up with plaster bandages. After about 25 minutes of the entire process, you take the plaster bandages and the alginate off, and you have a perfect negative copy of their face, and then you can pour any type of material in that you want. We usually pour plaster, and then we have plaster heads of all the people. So that's what these are. This is a show that we did quite a while ago called Creepshow 2, where there's a wooden Indian which comes to life. This is the suit that the actor Dan Kamen wore. We also had a statue. Mike Tursik sculpted and painted all this. We had a statue that didn't move, and then this is the actual suit that the actor wore. Here's the little foam gloves. The foam kind of deteriorates after a while, so it's kind of hard to keep things real nice, but these are the gloves. You can see all the detail of the wood carving and stuff like that. And these are two of the bodies from Nightwish. Unfortunately, the head is missing off this because we just sent it out. They needed some heads for Ghostbusters 2, so they kind of called us and we sent them a couple heads. So this used to have a head, but it doesn't anymore. Just a good example of different kinds of stuff we use, mold releases in crystal clear and squeeze bulbs to make things inflate. Here's some jugs of blood that we have left over. Super glue is like the ultimate material for special effects. So you go through tons of this stuff a day because it just, oh, quick, gotta glue it back on, it's all fine.
And this is the chemical drawer. This is all the glues and various adhesives and stuff that we use. Here we have some gel effects, which are scar material, make burns and scars on people and stuff. And,
This is a mechanical dummy. We'll show you what he does. You want to do that?
yeah.
It's a little beat up, but
We needed a dummy that had sparks shooting out. As you can see, there's a couple detonators still in here. What happened was the skin was put together, and then in the middle of the take, we pulled it apart. The skin came apart, and sparks shoot out of the skin during the electrocution.
this is something Greg did. Greg handled this entire sequence by himself. It's from Horror Show. There's a scene where the family's sitting down at dinner, and they're having a nice turkey dinner, and the lead actor, Lance Henriksen, starts to hallucinate and looks down, and the turkey starts to move, and we had all these tentacles shooting out of it and grabbing onto the table, and then this turkey hand reached up, human fingers on it, and had the human turkey, or half turkey, half Brian James head, come out and look around and torment Lance Henriksen. So Greg sculpted this turkey head, and we did a clay press, a little clay press of Brian James' face. We usually do more than one show at a time, and if we're doing 3 at a time, each of us will split up. Although the 3 of us will be supervising everything, and Bob will take one project, Greg will take one project, and I'll take one project. And that way we can get everything done. We'll all have our own separate crews on it, although everybody ends up working on everything together, but at least there won't be 3 people trying to concentrate on 3 different projects.
Basically, when we read a script, you can pretty much tell what stuff is going to make it, what stuff isn't. Even with Intruder, we had suggested to the producers, look, why don't, they had originally called us and said, look, we're not really sure if we have the money to do this, we might just cut some of the effects out. And my comment back was, well, look, here's the deal. This is a horror film. People are going to go see this movie to see what happens to these people, how they die, who kills them, why they're killed. So to cut out the effects and to cut out the whole point of the film really makes no sense. So my suggestion to them was, look, release it on video, unrated, and put back in the scenes that you're going to cut out theatrically. Fans love that stuff anyway. People love to, they will go rent a movie specifically to see the stuff that they don't think they saw in the theatrical versions.
As a matter of fact, the director was up here yesterday. We were talking about it, and he said he hasn't taken it to the ratings board yet. And there's probably a good 60% of what we did will get X'd. The ratings board will cut that to pieces just because there's just too much blood. The big thing the rating board has a problem with is blood splurting out of a person. You can have blood dress, but you can't have blood splurting. So I think the three of us know what to expect. We know we're going to do a lot of stuff that's going to get cut out.
This year I've been pretty depressed about it because most of our films this year have gotten most of the effects cut.
The ratings board, in terms of like if they were sent to hell or something, they should be made to watch episodes of Freddy's Nightmares over and over again, like just on a continuous loop. I think that'd be pretty hellacious.
My favorite aspect of the business is the fact that you're with something from start to finish, that you can actually begin with a ball of clay or somebody's head, a life cast, and go from that point from A to Z all the way to the point where you're on set and you're watching it become alive.
I love all of it. I love the lab work, I love the designing and the sculpting, and dealing with all the problems. All we want to do is make monsters and have fun and make good films, films that we've always wanted to see.
Keep going to the movies, that's all I can say. Keep us working.
As long as we keep getting scripts and we keep going to horror films, we will keep making these movies. We love horror films. That is the bottom line.
Hi, I'm Linnea Quigley, Queen of the Bees. I learned how to use a chainsaw in Iowa. My first beginnings, was fixing my mini bike, which had a chain. And from the chain on the mini bike, I progressed to the chainsaws. Okay, the transition from being in Iowa and riding horses and coming to Hollywood with the chainsaws isn't, I don't think that different. I think they're both, things that, women from Iowa do. At first, my parents didn't understand at all what I was doing because, we're from Iowa, pretty straight type of thing. So it wasn't until Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, I took them to the big premiere of that they kind of accepted it. They didn't really understand. My mom would just be so freaked out if she saw me being killed, and it'd just be awful for her. But my dad's kind of quiet about things like that. He doesn't say a whole lot. I think that they would they like it better when I am in a movie and my clothes are on and things like that. But I think they've kind of accepted it, only because I think I accepted it. At first I thought this is kind of bad and wrong. And I think when I came to accept it, they kind of got the vibes from me that, it's okay. I'm not sure if I'm a hometown hero or not. I know that a lot of people from the Times there, the Quad City Times and things, just, started writing me, and they were so excited I was from Iowa, because it seems like the people in Iowa like the horror movies a lot. I think horror films are probably popular because, for me, I like to go and be scared, really truly scared, because it's kind of like your adrenaline goes and it's exciting and everything, and then you leave. It's excitement, I think.
You stay there, pally, or I'll lay you right the fuck out.
Oh, but hey, I'm not gonna hurt you or anything.
Damn straight you're not.
No, I don't get the creeps from the horror films because when you're on the set, it's so fake that you just, have to laugh about it. So I never really get the creeps about it. I just know it's fake. The least thing I like is the makeup, if they have to put makeup on me in terms of the zombie makeups. I don't really like that at all. in Night of the Demons, the lipstick scene, I like that. That was a fun one to do because I didn't have the stuff covering my head and face. They had they had made like a gelatin type of mold of my breasts, and so they'd already like pre-sliced a hole where it would go through. So the lipstick went in and just went into the fake breast that was, you know, bound over mine. The most fun in the horror films were probably like a lot of the stunts. I like doing those where, you know, you have a nice fight with the zombie, or, you know, running a lot and you know, being chased. I like doing that, the action things the most in the horror movies. Some of the things I did in 1988 were Blood Nasty, which is a black comedy, Assault of the Party Nerds, which is just a comedy, Vice Academy, which will be coming out in the next couple months, which is kind of like a female police academy. I did a lot last year. Okay, and this year I did Sex Bomb, which is like a comedy, kind of a black comedy also about low-budget horror movie making. And I'm right now filming one that's called Say Bye Bye, which is a black comedy also. Some of the favorite directors, I like working with David Dakota because, you know, he's like a different director, I think. He goes, know your lines, show up on time, and hit your marks, which I like, because then it's kind of, you're responsible for it and it's not too tense.
Assholes.
You know, she's got a real attitude problem.
I was really happy to play like a tough character because it's like, that's like a different side of me that, you know, it's like, wow, I want to be tough and everything. So the spider character was really fun to play, and that's what I'd rather do. It's more interesting to play a character that's either tough or mean or something than just, you know, like a bimbo or, you know, the nice girl.
What is this, Midnight Wimp Bowling League?
What are you, the bride of Dracula?
Oh. Jump back. Prom queen's on the loose. Or is it high school hookers?
I'd like to keep playing like stronger characters.
Ooh, naughty. That's illegal.
Yeah, so what are you doing here, mopping up?
Yeah, and I'm almost done. So let's cut the shit and get out of here.
If I got out of the film business, I would probably just have a ranch. I would have a lot of dogs, take in stray dogs, and, you know, fully work on animal rights all the time and, you know, do what I can for that. I guess the reason I probably stay in the film business is to help, you know, support money and things so that I can, you know, get my dream of, you know, just making a big contribution to animal rights. I'd like to combine them in making movies, producing movies where there's a lot of themes toward, you know, not having lab experiments and things like that. Well, I wanted to produce for a couple years, and David Dakota, who I did Creepazoids with, and Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama, gave me a chance this, you know, beginning of January it was. So we produced something called Murder Weapon. I was in it and produced it. And then I produced my own Linnea Quigley horror workout, which we just did and finished, which is really fun. The Linnea Quigley horror workout is a real campy exercise video that happened. The director, Ken Hall, and I were on the set of Murder Weapon, and we were laughing because I had a scene where I'm like sledgehammering something. And so we were laughing about how funny it would be to make a film that showed how you can exercise, you know, with these horror films.
Look at you! You're a mess! That's right. I'm talking to you. You call yourselves zombies. Well, I have never seen such a sorry lot.
I put them through a workout, and the zombies are aerobicizing, and they feel good and everything. The next part is the slumber party, and the typical things that happen. The girl's alone in the house, and they get killed. That's after they exercise, though. scares me are mice. I have no idea why. Maybe because my mom used to run and hide when there were mice, and I kind of like followed suit, thinking they were scary. Mice scare me, and real people scare me.
Angel, your mission is to look beautiful and kill Satan.
Smashing!
Oh, hello, I'm Lloyd Kaufman. This is Troma. We'll talk about Troma today. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Troma is from the ancient Latin. Virgil, Book 2 of the Aeneid. It means excellence on celluloid. Troma was formed in 1974, way back in 1974, when Michael Hers and I decided that we would make movies that were on the cutting edge of the film industry. So the first movie that was actually distributed by Troma was a film called Sugar Cookies with Mary Woronov and the lovely Monique Van Vuren. Usually we come up with an interesting topic from the newspapers. Toxic waste, the fact that nuclear power plants are built poorly, the fact that women hate men. So we open up one of the trade magazines, which will go nameless, and it says in banner headlines, horror films are dead. So Michael Hers and I say, Eureka, this is for us. We're going to make a horror film. So we think and we think and we ponder, and we decided that we would try to put the comedy format into the horror genre, and The Toxic Avenger Part 1 was born. I think the key to Troma is that there's comedy. Comedy is our beat, and it just happens that there are people getting their heads ripped off and put into meat blenders or whatever. You know, recently, I hate to say this, but recently there have been protests because there has not been enough bad taste in the Troma movies. We believe that there is indeed a double standard. The MPAA seems to be much tougher with Troma movies. They seem to disembowel the Troma movie and let the bigger studios movies have people with their heads being blown off. If we can make entertaining original movies on a modest budget and aim them at a loyal audience, there will be theaters who will show our movies. We keep accumulating negatives in our library, so that Troma now has 80-some-odd movies. In the same way that MGM has, what are they? MGM, I think, has about 83 movies. But they've got Gone with the Wind. They got gems in their negative. We have The Toxic Avenger. We've got other gems. But that library, in the sense of business, is very valuable. And even my mother thinks it's valuable. So. It's looking pretty good. Now, these are the Troma editing facilities. Under the quiet and watchful eye of Michael Hers and I, the editors work here to edit movies like The Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High was edited here, the beautiful Fortress of America, which is premiering at Cannes next month, edited right here. Now, let's see what they're doing. All right, now, the main thing here is we've got to start thinking about the opticals. The opticals. Opticals, right? The stickers, yes, we use stickers a lot, but the opticals are more important.
Well, we can optical this out. So.
All right, that's the key, yeah. High tech, high tech. So you got the editors. What do you think? We have about 30-some-odd full-time employees, full-time Tromites. Troma is now releasing about 12 movies a year. Hopefully, we will continue to make original, entertaining, and forward-looking movies. Comedy is our beat, so 10 years from now, I suspect you'll see Troma making comedies I tell you, Rabbit Grannies. Now, there's a Troma release. Michael Herz and I didn't direct this film. This is a movie that we found at the Cannes Film Festival. Actually, Michael Herz saw it. And the director, Emmanuel Kervin, is a very talented young fellow. And it's about some grandmothers who just love their grandchildren and have them for dinner frequently. In terms of dollars and cents, clearly the Toxic Avenger cycle, in the same way that Richard Wagner had the Ring cycle, the Toxic Avenger cycle has, I would say, been the most successful. For instance, Toxic Part 2 with the wheelchair, where the fellow gets squished in the wheelchair. That originally started as just a minor event, and then through rehearsals we kept building on it, and we just took the thing as far as it could possibly go. Yes, the rumor about the Toxic Avenger cartoon series is indeed correct. Michael Herz recently signed a deal with a very prestigious company that does Saturday morning cartoons. And they do Strawberry Shortcake and Berenson Bears, and they have licensed the Toxic Avenger for a cartoon show. Well, the first advice to young gorehounds would be, Shakespeare said it, to thine own self be true. Do what your spirit tells you. I personally would, if I set out to do Hamlet, it would come out looking like the Class of Newcomb High Part 2. You have to do what is in your heart and soul, and that's the key. Whatever comes out, that's the best way to work, I think. Guys, ladies, the Troma team is very grateful to the Gorgon viewers for supporting our movies all these years. And we wish you all the best of luck. Thank you for visiting us. And goodbye. So long.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Lloyd, we need this on set. Oh, bye. Thanks.
Now, Angel, when you see the devil, hit him first. Ask questions later.
Greetings, Gorehounds. I'm Gore Gazette's Rick Sullivan, and from now on, you can see me on Gorgon Video. Welcome to Rick's Reviews. Ever wonder what happened to 50s teen heartthrob Tab Hunter? He's now running guided tours of Cameron's Closet. SVS brings us a killer demon who hides in a 6-year-old boy's attic crawl space. The special effects for Cameron's Closet were created by E.T.'s Carlo Rambaldi. But this blood-hungry demon looks like he was made from leftover high school art supplies, leaving Cameron's Closet best left shut tight. One skull for this turkey. How about Henry? Portrait of a serial killer. You can see him at packed midnight screenings across the country. This hard-hitting sleaze fest about a door-to-door psycho and his white trash roommates make Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy's crimes look like 4-H projects. Here's a sample.
Plug it in.
You guys need any help? Otis, do you need some help, or can you do it yourself? Feel better? Yeah.
Adios, motherfucker.
Full-scale depravity is the rule and not the exception through Henry's totally ill 90 minutes. Hardcore sickness doesn't come much wilder than this, and Henry, portrait of a serial killer, deserves a solid 4 skulls. Here's one that grossed out theater patrons throughout New Zealand, and you can see it on video now in the United States. This low-budget, blood-drenched horror farce is called Bad Taste. Written, directed, produced by, and starring Peter Jackson, Bad Taste is a slapstick splatterthon about a group of aliens who descend upon a remote village. The creatures kill all the inhabitants, chop them up, and pack the parts in boxes to be served at a fast food restaurant in outer space. Bad Taste is a 90-minute onslaught of graphic, chunk-blowing special effects, decapitation, mutilation, disembowelment, and other assorted blood-spattered carnage. It gets my vote for Gore Film of the Year and the highest possible rating, 4 skulls. And now, Vicious. This sadistic little low-budget import from Australia is perfectly suited to hardcore gorehounds. First-time director Carl Zawicki wrote this tale of a bored, wealthy Sydney adolescent who seeks thrills by teaming up with a pack of poverty-stricken teen cat burglars. He gets more than he bargained for when the gang of robbers adds murder, rape, and torture as sidelines. Horror has never been better from the land down under, and Vicious clocks in a solid 4 skulls on the GWAR barometer. That's it for Rick's Reviews. See you in the next issue of Gorgon Video. Stay twisted.
I've been to a drive-in a long time ago in the 50s and 60s. They had the best movies. You go with your girlfriend, you're fighting her off because you want to see the good parts, the gory parts, the bloody parts. When I first saw Bucket of Blood, I wanted a drink of blood. Watch this. Frankie? Frankie? You all right, Frankie?
Oh, Frankie. I'm sorry.
What have you got?
It's a thing I made.
Walter.
You like it? What's he got?
Oh, come look at this, Lenny.
Well, where'd you get that, auction? I made it. You made that? I said I did, didn't I?
Walter, it's very good.
Honest?
Honest.
What's it called? Dead Cat? Dead Cat? That's its name? Sure. Well, it sure looks dead enough.
Okay, Walter, who's your connection?
Connection?
Yeah, connection. Who do you score from? Where do you buy your horse?
Horse?
Horse, junk, white stuff, heroin.
Is that what that is? I've never seen any of that before. I always thought that was expensive.
Yeah, Walter, that can be real expensive.
Gee. Well, wasn't that nice of Naolia to give me that expensive horse?
Walter.
Huh?
Police officer.
Oh, you're like an undercover man.
You're under arrest, Walter.
Under arrest for what?
Possession of narcotics.
For me? What are you talking about?
Walter, I got you cold. Now, you just come along quietly.
I didn't do nothing. And Naolia give me those. I didn't ask her for it. I didn't even know it was in
All right,
there.
you can tell him that downtown. Now, let's go.
I ain't going no place with you.
Walter, do I have to point this at you?
You're gonna shoot me. No, don't shoot me.
Walter, just relax.
No, you're gonna shoot me.
Now, just relax.
No, don't shoot
Just
me.
shut up, Walter.
No, you're gonna shoot me. Don't shoot.
Oh, come on, Walter. Take off the sheet.
Don't you like it?
Walter, it's a masterpiece.
One of my favorite ones for a drive-in was Attack of the Giant Leeches. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good, it just sticks to you. Sticks to you. Watch this.
Look out! Behind you!
you're a fan of cult classics like these, you can get some of the best quality ones from Sinister Cinema. They specialize in tender little morsels like drive-in double features. Their address is P.O. Box 777, Department C, Pacifica, California, 94044, or give them a call. They'll talk to you at 415-359-3292. You probably think that Hollywood has taken gore as far as they can take it. There's a band out of Antarctica. They make Alice Cooper look like Sesame Street. They call themselves GWAR.
They're not gonna see this, are they?
Oh no, oh no. Oh, okay.
Some of us were taken as little babies from the cradle. Others were just walking along and a giant meat hook on the end of a 50-foot chain from a helicopter. Me too.
At least we're alive, and we're not some upchucked audience member. I can thank them for that.
So you're all happy being GWAR slaves?
They'll let us suck their gigantic genitaliatic, prophetic wars.
We have to sit there and watch them enjoy all that necrophilic butt sex and stuff, and they won't even let us have any. Is that torture?
They feed us little bits of clay.
What do you say we do that song about our favorite 14th century Wallachian, vampiric, homosexual, necrophobic, bestial butt lover that I love so much, Vlad, the anal impaler. Take it, guys.
cheat, lie, and use deceitful tactics against me. One of these days, GWAR will be destroyed once and for all.
Hope you dug this premiere edition of Gorgon Video Magazine. Watch out for our next issue coming out real soon. More guts, more gore, more special effects, more behind-the-scenes footage, everything you wanted from a video horror magazine. Let's go out with a scream. Watch these trailers.
Michael? Michael? Killing yourself isn't so hard, really. Come to me, I need you. Jump, jump, jump.
Death Spa. Welcome to the health club where you'll sweat blood.
Ever work without a spotter, Freddie? Weight falls on your chest and you can really get squashed.
It's the place for a killer workout.
What the hell's going on around here?
An unquiet spirit reaches out from beyond the grave for revenge.
There's more to this job than things that go beep.
Hello, sweetheart. Welcome to my party. I will destroy this place, and I'll kill them all, unless you do as I say.
Death Spa. Health or hell? Death Spa. Where everyone is in a panic to join. Death Spa, an exercise in terror.
What a fantastic weight reduction program. People get so thin they disappear.
Something's gotten into Maggie.
Oh, I may throw up.
Me first.
The devil's got her body and is looking to raise some hell.
Oh, Maggie. Maggie.
You're such a tramp.
And only this man can save her.
It's great.
He'll knock the devil out of her. If she doesn't get him first.
I'm gonna mess you up. Maggie, watch it!
Get ready for a night of adventure.
Damn you!
A night of romance.
I can't. It's so ugly.
A night of terror.
Oh no.
A night of action.
I'm not well.
Are you okay?
Right now. They just don't know how to party.
Just when you thought it was safe to fall in love.
Meet Charlie and Peter, a couple of nice guys looking for a quiet place to spend the night.
Our bus had a flat.
By midnight tonight, every door, every window will be locked. Not a person will remain. This town will be empty.
What are you talking about?
I mean, think about it, Pete. If you could spend a night in an honest-to-God haunted house, that'd be the biggest kick in your whole life, right? Well, think about it. Think about it. It's you, me, and the devil. And a whole town deserted.
Welcome to Santana, a terrifying place of nightmares and demons. And who is the mistress of Santana? Welcome to hell and the regions of the damned.
This is hell.
This is hell.
Maybe so. But I ain't scared enough to run out on a friend.
Welcome to the dungeons of lost souls. Enter into the inferno, where there is no escape from the fiery pit. Beware, for there is no way to prepare for Judgment Day, starring Cesar Romero and Monty Marco.
Just a taste of what's going to happen to the rest of your stinking planet. No, 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 no.